Today we are going to take a peek at writing equations. We're going to be starting Unit 4 today, and we're going to look at equations, writing them for these graphs we've been doing, given one point in a slope. And we're going to sort of build up with this a little bit. So this particular assignment is going to be our first one for homework check 14, because again, we're moving forward. Hopefully you've got homework check 13 in sometime today. Again, we're just looking to staple that with that cover sheet that I gave you that's available over in the folders if you have misplaced it or weren't here that day. But this will get us started in a new unit and a new check. Another thing to keep note of, the odds on here are going to be the ones we work together as notes. The evens are going to be the assignment. So, and we may not get to every single one of these, but we're going to do our best to get to quite a few of them here. So, okay. Write the equation in the line passing through the given point that has the given slope. You remember back from even last unit when we were doing things that we were trying to get equations into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Well, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to be given the m. We're going to be given the slope. We're also going to be given a coordinate point. Now, when we're given a coordinate point, that's the x and the y values. So we're given everything except the b. So we're going to plug all those numbers in, we're going to figure out what b is, and then we're going to be able to make our equation from that. So when we're doing this, let's see here. Here's my line. It's kind of hard to see my axes here, but I'm also going to show you something that can kind of shortcut this a little bit. So when I get this, I go, okay, so I'm going to plug in to y. My y is 5 equals my m is 2, my x is 3 plus b, because I don't know what b is. I don't know what the y-intercept is yet. Now some of you may have picked up enough to say, wait a minute, I think it's right there. I think it's at -1. Well, let's see if this does it and gives us the same answer. If 5 equals 6 plus b, what do I have to do to get b by itself? How do I get rid of the positive 6? Right, I do the opposite. I minus it. I negatived it to both sides. So if I minus 6 on both sides, 5 minus 6 is -1, and I even can see it here. So if you can see it on the graph, you can use that. But here's the cool thing. Once I do that, then I just write the equation y equals, I put in my m, x, and then put the b on the end. You're like, wait, come with that again? Okay. Let's come with that again. Now, when it's with the graph, let's see if we can shorten this up a little bit this time. Here's my y-axis. Here's my point where it's crossing. What point is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So my b equals 3. My y-intercept is 3. Well, if I know what both my m and my b are, I can just go ahead and write the equation. Y equals m, my slope is 1/2, x plus b, or in this case is 3. So the graph does make it pretty easy, okay? We're just going ahead and finding it. I can do it mathematically. I can do it by looking at the picture, okay? Whichever one seems to work best for you. But when we don't have the picture as an option, when we're just given a point and a slope, literally, I've got the steps down here for us to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the point, and like we mentioned up above, we're going to plug in the m, x, and y values, figure out b, and then plug the m and the b numbers in. You're like, okay, maybe. So let's keep this where we can see everything. All right, so here's my x and my y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my y. M is -3. So we're just doing substitution. And my x is going to be 0. So I go ahead and I say, okay, -3 times 0 is 0. Plus b equals 4. Well, I don't even have to do an opposite here. When you add nothing to something, you get the same thing back. So that 0 kind of goes away, and I find out that b equals 4. So now I know my b I know my m, and those are the two things I need to know to get my answer. M goes in the first slot next to x. B hangs out on its own. And I've got the answer. Kind of see where I'm heading here? So I get up to this next one, same thing. Label my x and my y. And if I get going a little quick right here, have the person here give me a pause so you can get things jotted down. Y equals m, and that's what slope is. So m x plus b. And remember, when you're doing these, if you're getting a little bit frustrated because maybe you don't like the fractions. Now, I'd hope we can do half of 4, but if not, we always have the option of grabbing the calculator if we need to. And I can always plug that in and say, okay, so -1, oops, helps if I actually hit the 1, -1/2 times 4. And you can do it that way if you need to. So -5 equals -2 plus b. And again, I'm just doing my opposite to get b by itself. Since it's a -2, I'm going to add 2. -5 plus 2 is -3. And again, when I'm plugging in, these are the two values that I'm plugging in, the m and the b. M goes with x, -1/2 x, and the b is -3. And I move to the next one. You're like, maybe this might be all right. X and y. So, okay, this time I don't give you all the blanks. I want you to start figuring this out here. So let's see. Y equals m x plus b. And if you need to rewrite this part to kind of remind you what's going on and that you're plugging into those three places, that's okay. Never hurts to jot something down. Half of 2 is 1. And I get my b, but don't stop there. Because again, it's my slope and my y-intercept that I'm plugging in to get my answer. So y equals mx plus b. We always want the end to look like when we were actually graphing them last unit and seeing how that goes. And let's come down here. See, we're going to get you lots of examples. I just got to get some of you to hold on to this stuff so when we have a quiz, you have it. All right, so x, y, and m. Let's do this. Y equals m x plus b. 2 times -3 is -6. And again, my goal is to get b by itself. And there that is. I already got my m up here. So the equation would be y equals m x plus b. And I'm good. So again, it's just getting into that mode. But again, if you forget something, just come back up here for a minute. See how this is working out. So let's head to the back here. Ooh, craziness. All right. I'm actually going to go away from what we've been doing and go to one of the evens for a second, because 14 I'm worried might throw you for a little loop. Slope, undefined. Well, how do I plug undefined into something? We don't. And dang it, Mr. Slope Guy doesn't seem to be in the room right now. Otherwise, I'd pull him out. When we're at undefined, remember, undefined is when a line goes vertically like this. And we talked before about those being x equals numbers. So this is actually going to be the easiest one on the whole sheet. If it's x equals, which one of those numbers is my x value? Right, the 2 is. So if I ever see slope undefined, I just put x equals and the x value. I'm done. Isn't that great? That's just awesome stuff. And then the last thing I'm going to show you today, I'm going to give you a little intro of something we're going to be doing next week. Okay. We're going to write the slope-intercept form. You're like, wait a minute. They're giving me the point. Where's my slope? The word parallel means you're going to have the same slope with another line. So all you're doing with all of these is you are going to use the slope they give you already. So for this one, for instance, my m is -3/4. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So here's my x and my y. So y equals mx plus b. And again, if you're not a big fan of fractions, no problem. -3/4 times 4. Okay, just like Mr. Slope Guy helps us with some things, we're going to let the calculator help us with some others. So 2 equals -3 plus b. And again, since our goal is to get b by itself, there's my b. I know my slopes from here. So my final equation, once I have b, is y equals, I'm going to steal the slope from the other one and just put my new b on it. And no, it doesn't mean every time these are just going to be opposites so you can skip all the steps. That's just coincidence on this one. All right, let's try one more of these out. Ooh, since that fraction looks kind of nasty. Ooh, I see what we want to do. Let's do 21. Okay, x and y. Here's my m. Y equals mx plus b. Because one thing we have not had happen yet, we have not had a y-intercept that's a fraction. So, again, no decimals. Okay. Goal is to get b alone. Opposite of adding 2/3 is to minus 2/3. Again, no decimals. Get my b. I got my m right there. Y equals mx. And you could put plus negative, but if it's a negative, I usually will just put minus in. But either of them absolutely will work. So again, you don't have to do the other odds, the evens of the assignment. Use the examples and just go back and forth with them, but use your class time wisely. Take that opportunity to give yourself a chance to be successful on this, because if you don't try, well, that's not going to help you at all with these. So hopefully you'll be good with this, and we'll try this again next day I see you. See you then.